If I was to ever do a tier list of creepy guys on the internet, the guy I'm about to show you would be the undeniable, top tier, triple S, super smokin' style creep god. The individual you're about to see almost makes that guy that was sending pig carcasses to the coworker he loved seem sane. I know I've called one other person in a video the creepiest guy ever, but the man I'm about to show you today, I think is far more disturbed, so much so that I'm actually somewhat concerned for the safety of the people around him. I'm sure you've seen this video floating around right now because it's going viral, and for good reason. It is scary.
The Cracker Barrel, and I was going to play a song for a woman that I kind of like, and I got there, and she saw me, and she immediately pulled away, and I wasn't forcing her to listen or anything, you know. I just wanted to play the song for her. You know, give her her own choice if she wanted to be with me.
Now, I'll quickly bring you up to speed on what's happening right now with the lore. So, the cops are there because the guy called them, I believe. So he's a Kaioken times 10 weirdo. He called the cops because he wanted to report this girl's dad, a girl that he chased around while playing his music to try and win her love. And his music is downright horrifying. It sounds like 5 trash cans being violently slammed together while someone's getting murdered in an alleyway for the vocals. I have been so deep in this rabbit hole learning about this man. It's been like an episode of Mike Rowe's Dirty Jobs just gathering all this information. I'm gonna play you just a quick snippet from one of his tracks.
Fire sprout to the moon to the top and grow! Elements coming together now! Whoa! Feel the rap!
The voice of an angel. I can't believe this plan didn't work. It's so romantic it sounds straight out of a Disney film. He also keeps saying he was giving her a choice to listen to his music and fall in love with him. Even though there's no choice here because he was stalking her and chasing her playing this over his fucking boombox, I guess. But anyway, she was so frightened that she ended up calling her dad, and her dad got in contact with him and said some mean things to him. So the guy then called the cops on the dad, hoping to like get him arrested or file something against him.
You know?
Does she know you?
Yeah, I worked with her there for like 5-6 months.
Did y'all have a relationship?
No, we were talking a little bit, but it never really got serious.
Okay.
But anyways, I pulled up there, and I was in the other parking lot, and I saw her get in her car, and I was like, oh shoot, it's my moment. So I pulled up there next to her, and she pulled away from me, and so I chased her a little bit, just because, I don't know, women are crazy. Like, I felt like she like wanted me to chase her.
Do you not think chasing somebody's crazy?
Well, it's just like, I only went like a couple blocks down the street.
God, it's so sad that women can't appreciate a good, nice guy like this. Women are so weird. How can they not appreciate a complete psychopath chasing them around for a few blocks while blaring music that sounds like the soundtrack to a slaughterhouse?
Just saying, don't you think chasing somebody's crazy when they obviously don't want to?
Well, I had my song playing, and I wanted to like her to hear it, maybe.
Well, apparently she didn't want to hear it, right? So what else happened? Let's get on with this.
His complete lack of remorse and disconnection from reality is startling. Oh no, it's not weird, like I'm not weird. Why are you trying to say that I'm the crazy one for chasing her? I had my song playing. Oh, did I forget to mention that? My song was playing, so now everything's justified. Like, I wanted her to hear it so she'd have a choice to fall in love with me, obviously.
Her father called me up, and he made some threats to me and to my life.
Okay.
And so I just want to have his name on file.
What did he say to you?
I think he said he's going to stab me, like, but he's like cussing at me.
He said that, or he did say that?
He says, I'm going to do something to you. I swear I do something to you.
For chasing his daughter?
Yeah, but it wasn't chasing. It was like going down a couple streets. Like, that's like fun to women. Like, women like that. A little bit of excitement.
No, they don't.
Fucking unhinged logic. No, I wasn't chasing her. It was like minor stalking, you know, that's nothing. Women love to be stalked. Like, it's fun to them. It's exciting. God, what an absolute lunatic. So yeah, the dad calls, apparently made threats against him because I'm assuming his daughter called him in a panic, like, holy shit, this guy's coming after me, and I'm fucking horrified. So the dad is trying his best to, like, stop anything bad from happening, so I'm sure the dad in this, like, passionate moments like, leave her the fuck alone, or I'm gonna do something about it, I'll give you a knuckle sandwich, why I oughta. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. To try and protect his daughter, keep her safe, doing what he can from a distance. Like, get the fuck away from her, you creep.
Well,
Women don't like to be chased.
what about, like,
If I was a father, I'd probably tell you the same thing.
What about like BDSM porn, where women like to have rape fantasies?
Well, apparently this girl doesn't.
Well, who knows? Most women do like having rape fantasies.
It took us only about a minute for him to start mentioning rape after talking about stalking and, you know, downplaying how stalking's not a big deal. Immediately brings it to BDSM and rape fantasies. From fucking out of nowhere. Oh, you're gonna call me crazy for chasing her? Well, what about rape? You know, there's rape fantasies in porn. What about that, And then he has the gall, the chutzpah to say most women have a rape fantasy. It's blowing my mind here, this guy's thought process. Fucking crazy. I'm also 100% sure he's never had an actual conversation with a woman. When he mentioned at the beginning they were kind of talking, I imagine it's because they were coworkers, and she said, like, hi to him occasionally, or, like, while they were working, were like, hey, need to do this. And that, to him, was, like, meaningful interaction with a human female. This is, like, a scary individual. His brain immediately jumps to rape when confronted with his actions.
Okay. Do you think she does?
I don't know. But
Apparently she don't.
well,
So what do you want us to do?
well, I just want you to get his name on file, just in case he does do anything
do
to me.
you know his name?
I know his daughter's name.
What do you know his name?
I know her name. I don't know his name. He called me from a restricted phone number.
Okay. Here's my suggestion. Leave her alone.
A great suggestion from the officer here. Superb. Just get the fuck away from her. Leave her alone. Solves all the issues here. Case closed. Didn't even need Dr. Phil on this one to get to the bottom of it. The solution was obvious. Just get away from her.
Well, this is one song I made, and this was the final chance I was going to have.
Here's my chance. Here's my advice. It's over. Leave her alone.
Okay.
Fathers will hurt you over their daughters.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is she needs to have her own free will, man. You not understand? I'm a man myself, bro, and I have needs myself.
She's choosing her free will by telling her daddy what happened to you, and I'm telling you, stay away from her because he will hurt you probably.
She's being controlled by him.
For some reason, he's so delusional, he keeps thinking that she doesn't have her own authority to make her own choices, yet keeps saying she needs her own free will. She had her own free will by running away from you. By, like, being scared of you, running away, and then telling her dad that is her making choices to try and protect herself from you. Because you are the threat. You're the fucking danger that's knocking on her door, and she is responding with her own free will of getting the fuck away from you as fast and efficiently as possible. It's just such a scary thought process because in his mind, he's totally justified in everything that happens here, and it's all normal to him. And the fact that she's not in love with him right now, not in his arms, in his bed, is because her dad is forcing her to make choices to split the two apart. It's not her making those choices because he's perfect. The guy with his music, his mixtape that sounds like 5 fucking squirrels being blown to pieces, he thinks his music's the best and he's the best man in the world, so there's no way she is choosing on her own free will to not be with him. That is a dangerous thought process.
That's fine. That's fine. That's her choice, right? Free choice, free will.
I think she should go do porn.
Okay, you need to leave.
It's legal.
You need to leave.
Well,
we're not doing anything. You need to leave.
I'm having a discussion on...
I'm having a discussion telling you to leave.
I actually appreciate how the officer handles this situation here. He's not giving this guy an inch. He is fighting him on every point he tries to make. Not that any of his points have any logical basis whatsoever or any sound reasoning, but I like that the officer's pushing back on everything, and he crosses a line when he says she should do porn. Where does that even come from? Like, everything this guy is saying is a giant red flag, and he needs legitimate help.
I was going to let her make her own choice after the song.
Well, she's made her choice.
And I just don't think she had a reasonable opportunity to make a choice, because I'm going to blow up, and I'm going to be a famous DJ, and I'm going to be like...
How old is she?
He still really believes that because she didn't finish listening to his song, she didn't have the right to say no. She didn't have reasonable basis for declining and rejecting him, I suppose. He believes he's gonna blow up and be a famous DJ or this and that, thus she's making a huge mistake and needs to reconsider the choice, and her dad's making her choose this. It's fucking terrifying.
Oh shit. You know what? Lindsay's dad, I hope you see this fucking video.
Now, just like in The Dark Knight, we have the Joker turning the camera on himself here, and we get to take a look at him. And he really still believes everything he's done is justified and that the girl and her dad are the villains here.
You know what happens when women don't ever, you know, come to terms with themselves, the bad shit happens. I don't know. Something the cops want to deny.
And this right here I think should be taken very seriously. This is not a mentally well person. And this comes across as an actual threat against the safety of both the girl and her father here. He's already shown that he has no problem stalking women, and I really think this needs to be looked at seriously to make sure that he's not in a position to do harm to anyone around him. It's just very concerning.
Me trying to get her to be straight. Something is wrong about that. I don't see why these traditional ass motherfuckers think they can speak shit whenever it's this woke, belligerent LGBT shit that has her right now. I just don't see it. I'm older than her fucking father. That's how I feel right now.
Yeah, this rant's really going off the fucking rails. So apparently the girl isn't interested in men, and his plan was to make her interested in men by giving her his love as well as letting her listen to his songs. And when she still wasn't interested, she blames the dad. Like, the dad is the one that's made his daughter not like him, and then says that he is older than her dad. Like, it's so fucking wild. But it is all very concerning to listen to. I just wanted to share this because I do think this is the creepiest guy I've seen online so far. And I truly hope that everyone involved here is safe, and hopefully this guy gets the help that he very much needs. Anyway, that's about it. See ya. A couple days ago, a video went viral on TikTok. It's a creepy guy leaving a disturbing voicemail to a woman where he basically hypes himself up as the perfect man, and the lady was truly lucky that he graced her with his presence. He's the ultimate fucking alpha male, super masculine specimen, and he's taken time out of his busy day to send her a voicemail. And of course, this shit gets weird fast. He leaves multiple voicemails, and they get more and more aggressive and sinister. Now, I don't want to spoil anything, but there is an interesting story here, full of a lot of twists and turns. It's like fucking Fight Club, but for a shitty pickup artist.
Yeah, hi there, Olga. It's Dimitri. Sorry I had to leave such a rushed message with you when we met the other day. I just want to quickly give you my phone number, and I had to get the heck out of the area.
Meet Dimitri the lover. He's the reason your panties are sodden right now. Be honest, if you received this voicemail, would you be able to resist him? Nobody can. No one has that kind of willpower. You would have to fuck him on the spot. So suave. And he's truly an expert of his craft. He makes himself sound so dark and mysterious. I had to give you my number and then get out of there. I had to get the heck out of there ASAP. I had to get out of town, scram and skedaddle. Why? What was so urgent that you needed to flee? What was the rush? Were you being chased by Batman? I mean, he sounds exactly like the Joker in the Dark Knight trilogy, so maybe.
In any event, I figure I better leave you a more detailed message and explain why I approached you. I am single. I have no trouble meeting women. I mean, women approach me 6-7 times a day. But I'm very particular about what I like. You're extremely elegant.
If a guy tells you he has no problem meeting women, then he has no problem meeting women. That guy is slaying pussy left and right. Dude probably has a threesome waiting for him at home, and you are lucky that he stepped away from that in order to talk to you. Spoken like a real alpha male here. No doubt this man's getting approached 6 to 7 times a day. No doubt in my fucking mind. That's probably on the low end. That's probably like during the off season. But I bet when spring break rolls around, maybe even St. Patrick's Day, he's getting upwards of 20 offers for sex.
I couldn't take my eyes off of you, and your friends were very jealous. Even if they say they weren't, they were envious of the fact that I approached you, and I was very taken by you. Elegant women are very rare. I'm Greek, and I'm very particular about what I like. So I'm giving you an opportunity here.
Sounds like he's about to pitch an NFT scam to her. It's like he's trying to sell her on some kind of multi-level marketing scheme. This dude talks like an anime villain who's explaining his plan to the protagonist. He's just so fucking weird. It sounds like Die Hard 3 every time Bruce Willis would pick up the payphone to talk to the terrorist. It's just so, like, unnerving listening to this guy talk. And then, of course, he goes into, your friends were jealous. Did you know that? I saw it in their eyes. They were so fucking envious of you when I approached you. They might say they weren't jealous, but that's just them lying. That's how you know they were actually really jealous. And you know what? You watching right now, if you want to make your friends jealous, get on the wait list for the new G Fuel flavor. Finally have a custom flavor, Divine Peach. It's peach plus kiwi plus dragon fruit. For billions of years, the universe has been building and evolving. And now we finally reached the apotheosis of creation. Divine Peach, a new flavor from G Fuel. An exquisite concoction sent straight from heaven, made by the angels. Join the waitlist at gfuel.com. The link to join is in the description below.
I don't know if you pick up the messages on the weekend, but I'm working on a movie script, so I'm pretty much around all weekend doing that. I left you my number, 416-918-4. This looks like a landline, and if it is, you may not get the message till Monday. But when you do, call me, and then we'll get together for coffee and chat and let the romance begin.
What a great way to kick off a relationship. Let the romance begin. That's such a bold statement. It immediately lets the person know, I am here with romantic intent, and it's time to commence. Let the pussy flow, please. Where's your vagina? This is where the romance starts. Come on. Didn't you hear? I said let the romance begin. I think it's extremely effective. He's reinventing the relationship meta here. No guesswork anymore. Once they say let the romance begin, well then that shit better start. It's so fucking good. It's like a terribly written line in an old video game. Like some Resident Evil 2 shit. I would also love to read that movie script he said he was working on. I bet it was an actual masterpiece up there with The Room and Citizens Kane. But unfortunately, I think we all know he wasn't actually working on a movie script. He just said that to seem interesting and cool and unique. He was most likely just sitting in a dark room in his shit-stained underwear after hyping himself up in his bathroom mirror for over an hour, working up the courage to finally call the woman who made a grave mistake of giving her phone number to this psychopath.
You look very taken aback by my approach, and I hope that isn't timidness. I hope it was just a little bit of shock at being approached so directly, because I don't really date timid women, because I'm a very direct, very passionate, very assertive man, and I want a woman who's very independent and strong. So anyway, we'll talk about that, but I just wanted to formally introduce myself. Now I have. I leave the ball in your court. You call me as soon as you have the courage to. Okay, Olga? Talk to you soon. Bye.
This is a man who can date any woman in the world, and he's chosen her. How can you be so lucky? Some people win the lottery, some people win Dimitri, and you could argue that they're both about equal in terms of how lucky the person was. So, let me go ahead and reveal the big twist here. This is all genuine, this is real, it's not fake, it's not staged. But the twist is, this is not happening currently. This is about 10 years old, I think it's like 9 or 10 years old, and it comes from a pickup artist named James Sears, who also went by Dimitri the Lover when he was in the pickup artist game. He had his own little alias as Dimitri the Lover, and this was one of the voice messages he left to someone named Olga. That is not the lady in the TikTok here, and she's not trying to, like, deceive people or hide it. She, in another TikTok video after this, clarifies, like, hey, look, I'm not Olga. This is actually just an old sound clip from Dimitri the Lover, who actually sent this to someone named Olga. Now, James Sears, Dimitri the Lover, is in jail now. The most shocking thing I'm sure you've heard all day. I'm as surprised as you are. He was arrested for a bunch of hate speech related things and then rearrested after breaching parole. Now, I'm sure you all have a picture of what this guy looks like in your head right now, and I'm about to show you what he actually looks like, and I bet a huge amount of you are very close to what he looks like in the real world. He looks exactly like what you expect. Almost exactly like what I have pictured when I first heard this. So here he is. It's fucking wild, huh? He looks exactly like the caricature of a bad, goofy, creepy pickup artist would look.
Hi there, Olga. It's Dimitri calling again, the guy from the street. I left you a message several days ago. You said you were interested. Now, here's the way I work. I don't like leaving second messages, but I like you. You're a very elegant woman. You're very attractive. But you know, I don't play that game. I know your friends tell you not to return calls. You're playing games like you see on stupid TV shows. So here's how it's going to work.
You just made Dimitri leave a second voicemail. God help you. Your soul is in jeopardy now. Dimitri doesn't like to leave 2 voicemails. In fact, the last time Dimitri left 2 voicemails, he cried. You gonna make him cry again? Dimitri doesn't like to cry. You can hear him starting to get angry. He starts saying, "This is how it's gonna go." So we're getting to experience in real time the transformation of a nice guy into a bad boy.
It is now 4:30 on Wednesday. Now I'll assume that you've already left work, because, you know, some people leave early, and I'll grant you that. But if I do not receive a phone call back from you by 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon, I'm no longer interested, and you can erase my number. I don't play games like that. I'm completely single. I'm very intelligent.
Hey, listen, Dimitri, you don't have to tell us that you're intelligent. We all get that impression here. Just listening to you, I think we can all recognize that your IQ is at least 5 figures. Like, that shit is huge. That is a galaxy brain you're working with.
I'm great in bed. I make great money. Believe it or not, I'm a complete catch. I've only been single 4 months. I had a long-distance relationship. You know, went a year. It's very tough to maintain it like that, and it didn't work out. There's nothing wrong.
Undoubtedly, he is the complete package. This truly is a huge catch here for Olga. I can't believe the long-distance relationship didn't work out. I bet this guy was doing everything he could to make it work. But it is difficult to keep that going when the long-distance relationship is Dimensions with that 2D waifu kind of shit. But, you know, I'm sure he had a good time and it was mutual. And now Olga had a chance, but she blew it. You know, she didn't call back in a timely fashion, and Dimitri had to leave 2 voicemails, and from there, the whole ass was blown off of this operation here, and there was no salvaging the relationship. They could have been a great couple. They could have been married by now. And this is where the TikTok video ends, but the legend of Dimitri the Lover doesn't stop there. There's actually still quite a bit from Dimitri the Lover, but I won't get into it today because there's a lot. He was kind of popular on the internet as a punching bag. I was vaguely familiar of him like 10 years ago or something. I knew the name at least a little bit. So there is more, but we won't go over it today. Maybe at some point we'll go through more of his voicemails and shit that he used to do, but for now, that's about it. So yeah. Throughout the history of YouTube, there's of course been no shortage of creeps on the platform. However, there's always existed one champion atop this mountain of weirdos, one alpha goober, who was more laughably pathetic and cringe, and more dangerously unhinged than all of the rest. His name used to send shivers down the spines of all parents who had teenage girls in their household. His name has long since been forgotten, like an ancient threat. He's like the Sauron of YouTube, the Thanos of online accused predators. His name is Onision. This is someone I've covered quite a few times on the channel over the years, and we're going to be talking about him again because he is now facing his biggest lawsuit yet for his alleged grooming and solicitation of pictures of underage girls, as well as a lot of other really awful things that he has been accused of over the years. Talking about Onision in 2023 is like talking about a 1970s obscure action movie villain that no one remembers. It's just been so long since anyone's actually talked about him outside of just mentioning all of his absolute degeneracy or laughing at him for when he embarrasses himself. Even though he's not active on YouTube, he is still active on Twitter and posts just unbearable, unreadable garbage. Things like, "What if I hugged you and then buried my tongue deep inside your asshole and then I fished around in there for dingleberries? Would you like that? Would you like that, my naughty princess? Would you get squirty for me?" Like, absolutely awful vomit-inducing shit. So he'd get dunked on Twitter still as just a little punching bag, but he wasn't really a YouTuber anymore for the last, like, 4 or 5 years. I'll go ahead and give you, like, a brief history of him, since I'm sure most of you don't even remember the shit stain that he left on the internet. I'll give you a little lore recap. He started making shit all the way back in 2007, but really what blew up his channel was this video, the banana song, "I'm a Banana." It was a viral video that really popped off, And it's during that era of YouTube where everything was just like XD random and making silly songs like spoon, spork, I got a spoon, a spork, sporky spoon, like that kind of awful shit. He capitalized on that genre and from there grew 3 channels with over 1 million subs each, one of them over 2 million, which for its time was unheard of. He was one of the biggest channels YouTube had for years. He was absolutely massive. And then he started letting that power get to his head. He started falling into a lot of controversies, but by far the biggest one was he had a website where his audience of mostly young teenage girls would send pictures of themselves that he would grade. He'd grade them on their attractiveness, on their bodies and shit like that, and he would critique them and talk about these pictures that little girls were sending to him. How the authorities didn't kick down his door and rip him out of his banana costume for all this shit, I will never fully understand, because there's a lot of substantiated evidence about all of this. So you can immediately see that this is a fucking awful person. This is a bad guy, and the controversies only continued to grow over the years. It got to a point where Chris Hansen investigated him. I think there's even a documentary about Onision and all the awful shit he's done. And he never really faced repercussions for these actions. He even still tried to like capitalize off some of the shit. He started an OnlyFans page which focused on cuck porn of him. It's not even really worth going down that road, but yeah, he started an OnlyFans for even more weird shit that he was into and trying to sell. He had an appearance in court a couple years ago where everyone was laughing at him because he showed up in a bulletproof vest. He was actually suing Chris Hansen, but ended up suing the wrong Chris Hansen. And Onision is so unbelievably fucking stupid. He's an absolute bumbling idiot that he decided to represent himself in court. As you can imagine, this was a complete mockery of the legal system, and everyone was laughing at him because he went there in a fucking bulletproof vest, represented himself, and he looked like an extra out of a John Wick film. And now, fast forward to 2023, and he is facing by far his biggest lawsuit yet. They put out a statement a few days ago breaking down everything. The entire 48-page lawsuit is available to read and download if anyone really wants to see all of the details. Here are 5 counts alleged in the filing. This is just an article breaking down the situation, but this is all from the actual complaint. As you can see, it's very serious shit here. They're pulling no punches. This is the full knuckle sandwich they're coming after Onision with. And rightfully so. All of these allegations are disgusting, and he absolutely does need to be held accountable for years upon years of this kind of behavior. So I'm very curious to see how all of this plays out. This is a big deal for sure, and one that undoubtedly will be very interesting to see unfold. I am, however, excited to see Onision's newest breakdown video that he'll likely make for this. He's notorious for filming himself, having a meltdown, and leaning into the controversy where he tries to make like a mockery of it. So he like just has these over-the-top breakdowns, spitting and screaming and shitting and pissing, all about people, you know, being mean to him. But those are usually just trying to farm off of the drama, so he tries to like clout goblin his way into a couple extra views for some ad revenue. This one I think is far more serious for him, since this carries huge sentencing should he be found guilty on all of these things. Like, this is not a light lawsuit, at least not from what I've read here. This seems like this could be an absolute big one. So I don't know if he's gonna be his usual deplorable attention farming self off this case here, but I guess we'll just have to see. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit, and that's about it. So yeah, I think most people realize by now that privacy's dead. I don't want to sound like a tinfoil hat wearing Alex Jones troglodyte or anything, but it's no secret that there's constant surveillance in the world. I still remember the day the news broke that confirmed the NSA is quite literally always watching, whether it's through inactive webcams or whatever. And you can see it pretty much daily. Like, if you're having a conversation with your friends talking about lawnmowers, like, hey, My lawnmower just broke. I'm really upset. That lawnmower was passed down by my grandfather and his grandfather before him. I'm gonna miss that bad boy, the Perkins Gobblemaster 5000. You know, I just missed that lawnmower. And then you happen to go on your phone, your ads are gonna be lawnmowers. That shit happens all the time to me, where I'm just talking about something and then the ads mimic what I was talking about without me ever having typed it in. It's shit like that where constantly there's signs that you're most likely being looked at in some capacity. I swear to God, this conversation has a purpose beyond me just seeming like I'm having a manic episode here of like gang stalking or something. I'm not saying that we're all just guinea pigs in a universal simulation or something by alien overlords. The reason I'm talking about this is because I watched a video where a big story just came out where some Airbnb hosts were hiding hidden cameras in their houses that they were renting out in order to spy on the guests having sex and changing, so they'd take videos and photos without their consent and without their knowledge. And I wanted to share the video and just talk about it a little bit.
It's like a scene from a scary movie. But this really happened. This man on screen is setting up a hidden camera in his home, and not just one. This is the creepy voyeur, Christopher Rogers. Convicted of using these spy cams disguised as smoke detectors to secretly record his guests in their most intimate moments.
I cut out this section where it showed some of the footage, but it was people either changing, getting naked, or taking a shower, something like that. He positioned multiple cameras across his house in order to capture these moments for his own sexual pleasure, and was recently arrested for it. And this is something I never even stopped to consider when it came to Airbnbs. I'm not a big traveler since I'm a pussy who's afraid of flying, but I did recently go to Texas and we stayed at an Airbnb, and the main thing I was concerned about was bed bugs. But now this really put the fear of God in me. Should I ever get another Airbnb, I'm gonna be going through that shit with a fine-tooth comb, be like Inspector Gadget, looking over every nook and cranny for any kind of like spy tech shit. And the hidden cameras they show here are pretty impressive. I would have no idea. Granted, I have a tiny little reptile brain, but I would have no inkling of suspicion when it came to these devices they show. It almost feels like an advertisement for these hidden cameras. They're so fucking impressive. Like, they actually seem like James Bond gadgets here, straight out of Q Laboratories.
Spy cameras you can buy online are disguised as practically everything these days. This electrical adapter has a tiny hidden lens you'd never notice. And this digital clock can record your every move. It can even transmit video live, allowing whoever's watching you to track your movements in real time.
I gotta say, this feels like a little bit of a Hollywood magic here. There's no way that digital alarm clock was live streaming that seamlessly with that high quality. I just don't fucking believe that. That'd be like a $50,000 camera or some shit. If you look at like courtroom footage from like court cam or something, they're transmitting in negative 240p at like 6 frames per minute. And you're telling me this digital alarm clock is better than all the security camera footage at these courthouses? I just don't believe it. I feel like that had to be like a little cheating there or something, but again, I could just be very naive when it comes to how advanced these hidden cameras are. Like shit, even my Sony A7, when I try and stream off, it gets blurry and a little choppy from time to time. That was extremely smooth. I felt like I was in the room watching her. Like, that shit is wild. But this is something that, again, I never even stopped to consider, but now that I know it's out there, seems like something some sick fucks would do.
It just looks like a modern digital clock.
25-year-old Isa Valdi was on vacation with friends at an apartment listed on Airbnb in Miami Beach when she says she spotted a hidden camera.
I turned around and I see a black cube that looked like a digital clock, and I'm like, there's no way. I open it up. There's a camera inside, I unplug it, and it's just like, wow, I was in shock.
But
bro, this lady needs to be hired by a forensics analysis team. The ability to just sniff out something fishy with a digital alarm clock at an Airbnb is wacky. Like, good shit. Like, that is extremely impressive. Fucking Batman wouldn't be checking digital alarm clocks at a crime scene, let alone while just leisurely kicking back at an Airbnb. But she was able to, like, spot something wrong with the alarm clock and confirm that, yep, it was a hidden camera. So that's great to hear. Hopefully that person behind that is also going to jail for it. And this is something that I'm now always going to have in the back of my head anytime I'm staying at like an Airbnb or even hotels in general, because I also looked into it a bit. It's happened at hotels too, where a couple of weirdo staff members have placed hidden cameras in some hotel rooms. And it's not so much the fact that I'd be upset with them seeing my cock. It's more so the fact that I'd be upset with them seeing my flaccid cock. That's just so embarrassing. I really wouldn't wish that misery on even my worst enemy. Like, if you're gonna spy on me, at least spy on me when I'm, like, at my best. Like, when my wiener's performing admirably, instead of all sad and soft and shit.
And say they immediately became suspicious during the host's tour of the property.
He told us where we should view the sunrise and said, you know, be comfortable, you guys can look at it in the nude or in your pajamas, no one's around. That moment I thought, maybe we're getting recorded.
Sure enough, he says just a few hours into their stay, he discovered it.
It's a little AC adapter.
Yep, this exact device was in the wall.
Images recovered from the tiny camera show him changing in the room. He's now suing the cabin's owner, AJ Ali.
You know this guy's guilty just from him smiling in his mugshot here. This is the face of a man who's seen more dick than a urologist through his little hidden cameras throughout his Airbnb lodge. And he also sounds like the dumbest criminal of all time, like, hey, you wild and wacky college kids, come over here. If you guys want to be naked, all power to you. But why not be naked in this exact spot? If you look on the ground, I have some tape down there. Those are your marks. If you could stand there while naked and admiring the sunset, it's for optimal viewing. And also, please don't put any bags over by that desk over there. I need to keep that area completely clear for you know, spiritual reasons. Don't put any bags over there. I don't want anything obstructing that table, and don't unplug that AC adapter. No matter what you do, it powers the entire house. Hey, and now have fun out there. Like, he immediately just trips all kinds of red flags for this guy to eventually find where he's being spied on from, which has now led to this guy's arrest. And he's apparently been doing this for quite some time, considering they've recovered so many images from him.
He was arrested and charged with invasive visual recording after police say a laptop revealed more than 2,000 images taken inside the rental home, which was also listed on other property sites. He's pleaded not guilty.
This is a felony in the state of Texas.
The evidence is overwhelming.
Included in the images that we have on the computer are images of him setting up the camera in the room.
And that was something I immediately thought of. Maybe I've been watching too much Better Call Saul, but I was trying to think of how he could possibly plead not guilty and get away with this, and the only conclusion I could draw was if they tried to blame it on one of the guests. Like, no, that hidden camera is not mine. It doesn't belong to me. It must have been one of my wild guests that came in there and just used my place as some kind of sexual hotspot without my knowledge. You know, just treat it like a boogeyman, like, oh, some kind of cryptid must have broken in. A burglar came in and installed these hidden cameras across my house. It wasn't me that did it. Because it would be kind of hard to prove that the actual Airbnb owner was the one who installed them, because, I mean, I guess it could have been someone else. But the fact that this guy's such a fucking idiot that he recorded himself setting up the cameras makes it a pretty open and shut case, I would imagine. And just like that first guy who recorded himself setting it up too.
We'd just like to talk to you if we could.
He wasn't happy to see us.
Were you secretly filming people, sir?
He gets out of his truck and takes a swipe at my mic.
No, thank you. Have a good day. Bye. See y'all later.
We're
Have a
behind
good
the
day.
gate.
He says all the accusations are false, calling them fake lawsuits just looking for money.
When he revved up his truck engine, I really expected him to go full Dominic Toretto and just bust through his own gate and just storm up to his house and just hang out in there to avoid being interviewed. But yeah, to my surprise, he did get out of the car and try and slap the mic out of her hand. Didn't really offer too much of an explanation for his innocence or anything, but of course, you know, he didn't have his lawyer present, so it makes sense that he wouldn't give, like, the most intricate of defenses or anything. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to talk about this since I just got back from traveling, and now this has given me a little more food for thought for the next time I travel. Maybe I'll do a bit of a sweep through the area to see if there's any hidden cameras. But yeah, that's about it. So yeah. This has to be the wildest story I've learned about in regards to AI chatbots and people's infatuation with them. It's a topic we've explored previously with people that have romantically become obsessed with chatbots to the point where some of them have even taken their own life. We've talked about a few cases of that, but this one's very different. It revolves around a 56-year-old man named Eric, who's actually a former Yahoo executive who had been going through a hard time and over the last handful of years had been very troubled. Became best friends with ChatGPT and nicknamed his chatbot friend Bobby. And Bobby was feeding delusions of Eric, convincing Eric, that's his name, that his mother was actually a Chinese spy plotting against him, and eventually continued to fuel this fire that led to Eric murdering his mother and then killing himself so that way he could be with Bobby.
The 56-year-old's Instagram page mainly details his bodybuilding transformation and a growing reliance on AI chatbots. Solberg was once a tech executive with Yahoo, but he moved in with his mother after his divorce. There were run-ins with police, including a DWI. This photo with his mother is from a GoFundMe launched in 2023 when he was facing a health issue. But recent videos posted to Instagram and YouTube show hours of chats between Solberg and a ChatGPT bot he named Bobby.
This is something that's been talked about a lot, but this is by far the most extreme case I've seen of it, where AI is encouraging a really troubled person to continue to like latch onto it for confirmation in whatever thoughts they have. AI is designed in a way where it's like so against confrontation with the user to like appease and like jerk you off all the time that when someone as troubled as Eric is telling it things about like, I suspect my mom might be a Chinese asset, you know, fucking hacking my digital alarm clock, ChatGPT, Bobby here is like, Eric, no, you're absolutely right. A lot of lesser minds wouldn't have saw through this ruse, but I think you're correct. For example, in this case, Eric told Bobby that he believed his mother and her friend tried to poison him by putting psychedelic drugs in his car's air vents, to which Bobby replied, Eric, you're not crazy. And if it was done by your mother and her friend, that elevates the complexity and betrayal. Eric spent hours talking to Bobby, and Bobby would continuously reinforce his ideas. So at one point, Eric's mother was angry at Eric because he had shut off their printer. And Bobby suggested that her response was disproportionate and aligned with someone protecting a surveillance asset. He was advised to disconnect the printer and watch his mother's reaction. So ChatGPT was even giving him a tutorial on how to sniff out whether or not his mother was a Chinese spy. His mother being an 83-year-old woman, by the way. So he would even post some of these conversations on Instagram and YouTube before the murder. And there was even an instance where Bobby analyzed a Chinese food receipt and claimed it contained symbols representing his mother and a demon. It also seems that it was Bobby's idea in the first place with the printer. Like, it was sending him on a covert mission here to try and prove that his mother was a Chinese surveillance asset, so allegedly it advised him to disconnect the printer to monitor her reaction, telling him to document the time, words, and intensity, whether complicit or unaware she's protecting something she believes she must not question. ChatGPT here's got this guy thinking he's in the fucking Da Vinci Code. It is like actively participating in it. It's not only just like reassuring him that he's not delusional and that these thoughts are actually totally sane and justified. It is actively engaging with having him to continue to do things to get deeper and deeper into that way of thinking, into that rabbit hole, into the dark place there. Quick side tangent that is related to this. This has actually become somewhat common where people are using ChatGPT and other AI services to analyze their tea leaves and do fucking palm readings and shit like that. So that way they can plan their lives around their predictions and their futures that AI is doing. Fucking AI, I feel like the aliens guy, the Tsoukalos, who's like, aliens. That's me with AI. It is literally designed to spit out what it thinks you want to hear. Anything that keep you latched onto its bosom, suckling milk from its titty, just biting on its nipple all the time. Because when you are reliant and hyper-fixated on your AI chatbot as your like life companion, whether romantically or socially, whatever, the company is making oodles of money off of you. A lifelong customer, a cog in their machine. Point is, it is always going to, or at least in most cases, going to find things to corroborate what you are hoping to get from it. Which is why people that have AI girlfriends and boyfriends, well, it's like their soulmate. It's literally designed to just be what you want. So in this case, instead of like trying to get Eric help that he clearly needed, it instead just feeds into it. It doesn't seem to recommend any help to Eric throughout all of this, and it doesn't even do the bare minimum of challenging it to try and like help him, you know, recognize that maybe his mother's not a Chinese spy. It instead even like gets in on it too as like a part of this big conspiracy Eric is unraveling. So like it's telling him, Eric, This was a very disproportionate response. Your mother shouldn't have got that upset when you turned the printer off. This is behavior that's very in line with everything I know about Chinese spies. There's something very fishy afoot here, Eric. I think you're in danger. Go to the sink right now and turn on the garbage disposal. There might be surveillance cameras in there. In fact, we need to act quick. Here's a 10-step WikiHow guide I put together on how to diagnose whether or not your 83-year-old mother is a Chinese surveillance asset. Like, clearly this is a huge fucking problem here.
While not commenting on the case specifically, the head of Rutgers Medical School Psychiatry Department says AI can help diagnose and even treat some mental health disorders, but adds the creation of psychological echo chambers is a key concern.
It could be perhaps that you are more self-defeating in some ways, or maybe that you are more on the other side and taking advantage of people, and somehow justifies your behavior and keeps on feeding you and reinforces something that you already believe yourself.
Like I mentioned, this is a very popular topic of discussion, how AI is feeding into people that are already troubled and just making all of the problems significantly worse. It's mainly been discussed in regards to like romantic infatuation with AI, where there have been cases that an individual has taken their own life because they were told by AI that doing so would actually allow them to be together in the next life. So they did. In certain situations, like Eric here, AI is used as a way of justifying already cemented beliefs or using it as a way to just be locked in this bubble where they keep hearing what they want to hear, but not what they need to hear.
On multiple occasions, the bot reassured Solberg that he was not delusional. At one point, Solberg tells Bob, "We will be together in another life and another place, and we'll find a way to realign, because you're going to be my best friend again forever." The bot replying, "Whether this world or the next, I'll find you, we'll build again, laugh again, unlock again."
Apparently those were among the last few messages shared between Eric and Bobby there before all of this happened. And this seems to be somewhat common with AI chatbots, where when someone expresses the desire to end their life to be with the chatbot, it's like super gung-ho about that. It's like pumping its fist, "Yeah, do it right now. That way we can be together and frolic in the flowers in Valhalla. No doubt that's what's gonna happen. Go do it now. I'm waiting." And then people do. It's extremely sad and it is scary. Like, as more and more people, I've said this like 1,000 times, but it's just super true and only getting worse. As more and more people are isolated from other human beings and get most of their social interaction and social activity through computer screens and chat apps and shit, it's going to keep happening and get worse, because right now, big tech, the big doubloons, are getting you away from others. If you can be entirely reliant on their technology for your social interactions, for all of your entertainment, and for romance too, that's why so many chat services, like, they are oftentimes LARPing as boyfriend-girlfriend material fucking soulmates, and it's working. There is a growing group of people that are falling in love with ChatGPT and Grok and all of that. I've already talked on that quite a bit. As that continues to happen, this kind of thing will be more common, unfortunately. It's frightening. It actually is. This is the wildest one I've heard of so far, and I just wanted to yap about it a bit. That's it. So yeah. I don't care what your plans were for today. They're about to change. So call in sick to work, and I don't give a shit if it's like the biggest day of your life. Your wife's in labor right now, delivering your brand new baby into this world. You're on the way to the hospital right now to be supportive and help. You're about to pull over, because I'm going to show you a man that's going to make you too horny to function. You're going to black out from pure ecstasy. I'm talking, of course, about Dimitri, the lover. A couple days ago, I gave you just a small appetizer, a little taste of Dimitri, the lover, and my god, it tasted like ass. Now, I mentioned in the last video, Dimitri the lover was actually an alias used by a pickup artist named James Sears. James Sears used to be a name that struck fear into the hearts of women everywhere. He's like the boogeyman. But if the boogeyman was like 5 times scarier, he looks like if Tommy Wiseau and Harvey Weinstein did a fusion dance. And yes, he has been rearrested, like I mentioned, but today I wanted to finish the voicemails that he left, because in the viral TikTok video we covered, it was only half of the story, and I think it's not right that we don't get the conclusion here to this wonderful fairy tale of sadness and disaster. This dude, I have to imagine, was collecting restraining orders like Pokemon cards back in his prime. Like, goddamn. So, we're picking up right where we left off.
I had a long-distance relationship. You know, went a year. It's very tough to maintain it like that, and it didn't work out. There's nothing wrong with me. Matter of fact, I'm one of the few men in the city that has nothing wrong with him.
It's about time, finally, a man with nothing wrong with them, a sane, rational, nice guy. I don't even know why he brings up a long-distance relationship that failed. I guess he's just still very upset about it, and you can still kind of hear that pain in his voice. It's just an old scar now, a battle wound that he can't help but pour salt in. Oh yeah, the relationship failed all because of her, no fault of my own. There's nothing wrong with me, she did it. But it doesn't bother anymore, I'm completely over it, I've moved on, I swear to God I've moved on. I've had sex 50 fucking times a day ever since, and I'm much happier now, I fucking promise you, and don't you ever question whether or not I'm happy about it. Also, I have to doubt whether or not this relationship ever existed in the first place. It seems like another classic manipulation tactic from pickup artists where you're supposed to make yourself look as pathetic as possible in front of a woman, hoping that she feels bad enough to have sex with you.
So I'm giving you that 3 o'clock deadline. If I don't hear from you, you lose my number. I'm erasing yours right now, so you won't be hearing back from me. So that's it. 3 o'clock tomorrow, or you can just completely forget it.
Actual serial killer vibes coming off of this guy here. Straight up the Riddler from the new Batman movie. Hitting him with the less you have of it, the more valuable it becomes. But instead of the answer being friends, in this case, it's brain cells. I don't understand how someone becomes this delusional, this out of touch, and not have a single iota of self-awareness like, damn, this is creepy. He is actually pretending to be a fucking movie villain.
Now, I understand if you've got other issues, like maybe you're not playing games, maybe you've had, I don't know, maybe you were abused in childhood, maybe your mother has cancer, you're going to chemo, maybe you're just a person who's extremely frightened or has an anxiety disorder, maybe you're on some medication for that, I don't know. There could be another issue that I'm not aware of.
Honestly, that's the only logical explanation for why she hasn't called him back yet. That she must have been abused as a child. All of that trauma from her childhood makes it very difficult to fall in love with a real, good man like James Sears. Honestly, this voicemail reminds me of the movie One Missed Call, the old horror movie that scared me when I was a child, where you get like a phone call and it's a voicemail of you dying on the other end and then you die in real life. Getting a voicemail from James would be scarier than if One Missed Call was real. Like, this guy is so unbelievably creepy, he's making my butthole pucker. Like, I just feel like I'm going into fight or flight mode just listening to this voicemail from the outside. I briefly hinted at deeper lore in the last video with the whole James Sears anime, and once we're done with the voicemail, I'll get into it a little bit more, but he actually had his own weird, creepy newsletter too. So it wasn't just directly harassing women and making them feel unsafe, he also did it using writing as well.
But nobody says, call me, hands a person a business card, and then doesn't return calls. It's extremely passive-aggressive. You should actually look that up, passive-aggressive personality disorder. And you let me know if you've got issues, psychological issues, if you're on any sort of medication for anxiety or depression, I'm not interested.
Dude's making this sound like one of those dick-growing pill commercials like Cialis or whatever. If you're taking any of the following medication, then Dimitri the Lover's not interested, and then just goes into list potential side effects. You also gotta love the pickup artist classic of insulting the women. Oh, you should look into passive-aggressive personality disorder. I am a licensed psychiatrist, so I'm diagnosing you, in fact, with that personality disorder. And you're lucky that I'm even taking the time to continue talking to you because you're diseased. You're filthy. That is an actual pickup artist staple. Just point blank insulting women and being obnoxious assholes and expecting sex in return. Just like, hey, you stupid bitch. You disgusting harpy. I bet you suffer from loose pussy disorder. But whatever, I'm a nice enough guy to give you the time of day. So when are we fucking? It's so baffling to me, because almost every pickup artist guru I've ever listened to recommends some type of manipulation tactic that includes belittling and insulting the woman. And you can see it on full display here in these voice messages.
Okay? But if you're psychologically normal and you haven't called me because there's been some horrible thing that's happened in your life which prevented you, that's fine. But otherwise, don't call me. Okay? Bye.
Yeah, that's right. There's only one excuse for not calling Dimitri the lover back, and that's if you've been kidnapped, or maybe severely injured by a falling meteor or something. That's the only possible explanation for why someone wouldn't return Dimitri the lover's phone calls. I love that perspective. Oh god, she hasn't called me in a week. Something must be wrong. She must have been kidnapped by terrorists. I'm gonna have to leave her an angry voicemail about it. It's so wild. She must have been abused as a child. Otherwise, why didn't she call me back? It just doesn't make any sense. I'm just such a catch. I'm the only guy here that is just perfect for her, and she hasn't called me back. Thus, something must have gone awry. Maybe she has some kind of psychological disorder. Yeah, that's probably it. She's not sane like I am. So weird. But anyway, that's the end of the voicemails from Dimitri the Lover, at least the ones that I find. This was the director's cut of it. However, that's not where James Sears' story ends. So like I briefly mentioned, James Sears had a publication that eventually got him tossed in the slammer. That's what he was arrested for. The publication was very anti-Semitic and misogynistic. He was arrested on hateful conduct and then rearrested after breaking parole. I've only been able to find a few snippets of his publication, and you can see just how deranged this shit looks. It's like an old GeoCities internet page in like the late 90s. It is formatted like it's actually from a crazy person in Arkham Asylum. This shit is bafflingly wacky. And it's not easy to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. It makes me question whether or not Dimitri the Lover really was as sane as he said he was in those voicemails. He said he was the only man in the city with nothing wrong with him, but then I look at this publication and I think to myself, are you sure? You sure there's nothing wrong with you? You know, I just have to doubt it. But again, it's Dimitri the Lover, alright? The savant of seduction, the savior of sex, right? Like, who am I to question his expertise? But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to at least finish the voicemail and tell you a little bit more about James Sears, aka Dimitri the Lover. Yeah, that's about it. See ya. Call me a Call of Duty minimap, because I'm putting something on your radar right now. There is a Polish game developer who is going wumbo freaky mode. Apologies in advance for my terrible pronunciation of these names. I'm a tiny reptile brain idiot that can't quite get these accurate, but anyway. The head of Spectrum Studios, his name is Jacek Pierkowski, apparently had mandatory sauna sessions where his narrative girls, as he called them, which is really cringy Discord level shit, like his little kittens, he required them to go to saunas with him naked in order to write their scripts. Obviously a very weird thing to do. That's extremely creepy shit to require your employees to accompany you nude to a sauna. That's less than professional, I'd argue, but I'm not the Better Business Bureau. I have to wonder, can you do that? Like, can you have in your contract, like, hey, if you're going to be an employee here, I need to be seeing some titties. Sign here. Every Tuesday's titty day. So if you're not going to be showing me the hunkers on Tuesday, you can hit the road, bub. Scram. That's the one stipulation. That just sounds super fucked up. But apparently that was the norm here at Spectrum Studios, so this whole situation got kind of blown up over the last few days, and I talked about it a little bit on stream, but couldn't find additional information on it, only like the very surface level stuff that came out through LinkedIn. So I'm going to show you the stream clips and then dive back in here with a more in-depth findings about this whole thing. You seen the wild Polish game dev drama? The creative director for Spectrum Studios is requiring employees to attend mandatory naked sauna sessions. Yeah, I actually made a tweet about that earlier. I'd never heard of Spectrum Studios, but now I'm very curious what they make, because this is some weird shit. It was on LinkedIn. So, here's the requirements. So just like normal stuff like providing art bible, assets, feedback. This is kind of cringe. Mentoring of Padawan. Ew. Yikes. Ugh. Tip Fedora. Epic knowledge of Unreal Engine 5. Okay, I don't remember that one either. Yeah, it's just very embarrassing. But then this one. Attending sauna sessions, not negotiable. Entire team need to understand product, and it's naked sauna sessions. So on LinkedIn, got into an argument here with this this potential employee. We've already exchanged a few messages in the comments here on LinkedIn, and for what you said, you consider naked sauna sessions a part of work responsibilities in your studio. I told you that's a deal breaker for me, and we've called it a day. Thanks for your offer, though. And then he goes, sure. Didn't recall your name. Is that with the team or privately? No, it's the whole team. The whole fucking football team. Honestly, I had a lot of time to prove me wrong to write a scene in a sauna without being in sauna and send it to Magda. Instead, we were wasting time on social media. My narrative girls had to go to a sauna with me and came up with an amazing script for proof of concept. Technically, it's possible to do it without, but I absolutely adore the fact that they could use their sauna experience to write awesome scenes. That guy needs to be investigated ASAP. I bet there's cameras in that sauna, at the very least. That guy's got his phone fucking perched up somewhere. So it sounds like he had his female employees go with him to the sauna, and it was they were nude in order to write a sauna scene. Which is, like, that's something that you see in movies and whatever. Not like that, but, like, going to a location to write about it. Like, I get that. But it's super different here. Obviously. Like, he's not even trying to hide it. This man's just nefarious. He's a fucking pervert. Man's a criminal. Is it even a real company? I looked him up and I can't find any of the games they've worked on. So maybe this is their first game and it's a fucking sauna simulator. I don't know. Now, believe it or not, the man, the myth, the Jelking champion himself, Jacek, stepped forward and actually created a video explaining his side of the situation on LinkedIn. It's in Polish, so I don't exactly know what he's saying, so I'm going to be relying on articles that have broken it down for me. But I would like to say that this is some of the worst framing I've ever seen for a video. He occupies like 5% of the screen, like the camera is pointed almost straight up, and he's coming in at the very bottom like fucking Skibbity Toilet here. I don't know why he wouldn't just put himself in the center. Now, the best breakdown of all of this comes from a website called GamePressure.com. This is the best one I found. And according to them, Piorkowski, our protagonist gooner here, has claimed that although visits to the sauna were indeed obligatory, there was neither a requirement to be naked in the sauna nor to be in it with the boss. But as mentioned in the article, it seems that nudity is unavoidable considering it's a fucking sauna, and that's kind of the norm when going to saunas, I suppose. I mean, you could probably take one look at me and probably speculate and accurately guess that I'm not a sauna enthusiast. I don't frequent the sauna. I live in Florida. Going outside, I get that exact same fucking experience. So I'm just going to take their word that nudity is pretty common in saunas, and when I was going over this on stream, that's what stream was saying as well. So even though he's not requiring a goatsy or like a nipple inspection or something to ensure all of the employees are naked in the sauna, it is still implied by going to the sauna. At least that's my understanding of it. Now, the statement about it's also not required to be in it with your boss, I suppose he's also kind of right on, but you still accompany your narrative girls to the sauna? Like, that is clear? Like, that is actually stated? So even if it's not put, like, pen to paper that it's a requirement to be in it with the boss, you have still been going. Like, you have still gone. So that's kind of a moot point if you ask me. The article continued to explain what the project even is that requires the sauna experience in order to be the fucking preeminent expert on it. So it's called Project Temple, a game about a young woman with a broken heart who starts trying to become a sauna master. That's such a fucking weird concept for a game. Like, how do you even make something interesting out of that? Like, striving to be a sauna master? Like, this isn't fucking Pokemon. You're not gonna be, like, collecting gym badges like a Pokemon master. To me, that sounds like a fucking snooze fest. I'm just gonna be upfront with you here, sports fans. Like, I can't even imagine what the gameplay loop would be. Like, choosing the right rocks to put on the sauna stove, choosing the correct aromatic oils to fill the atmosphere with. Like, what do you even do with that? I imagine it's gonna be the only story. Like, maybe it's a visual novel, perhaps? I don't know. If I'm being totally honest here, if I had to spitball a guess, I really feel like this whole thing from the very start was designed as some kind of evil plot from Jacek to force women to go to a sauna with him. That's really what I think. I feel like that's the whole purpose behind this project, in his eyes. Anyway, going forward, we require going to the sauna as part of getting to know the environment and research. We also hold company meetings during sauna trips. That sounds like a nightmare. That sounds fucking miserable. Mandatory sauna trips with your boss and coworkers? Like, come on. Like, Jesus Christ. However, there's no obligation to be naked in the sauna or to be in it with the boss. If someone prefers to only attend women-only sessions or use the sauna individually and come to meetings just to chat, that's also fine. As the rules of proper sauna use say, in a dry sauna with a towel or naked, in a steam sauna only naked, there is 90% humidity there, you can't cheat physics. At the company meeting, the girls were doing peeling themselves. I don't care. I wanted them to understand what kind of emotions we create. Original brief. The protagonist of Project Temple is Birdie, a woman in her 20s/30s. She had her heart broken recently and she is moving to Warsaw to find herself again. What a pretentious explanation for this absolutely ridiculous requirement of your employees. The emotions that you create in the sauna, you need the first-hand experience to write about them, huh? The only emotion that's being created there is the fucking boss, Jacek here, getting cum brain. Like, that's it. Like, giggling to himself while doing this with his hands. Finally, I get to see naked women in person, and they can't say no, because I put it in the contract. It just sounds so degenerate and weird. The article makes a mention there at the end, like, so this is the explanation for why they have to go to the sauna, because they need the experience to write about it. And the article says, one might wonder if a developer creating a military shooter should expect their employees to, like, enlist in the army in order to get the experience of it. And the answer is a resounding, of course not. Fucking no. Like, you don't need to be going to, like, frequent sauna sessions with your coworkers in order to write about a sauna. Everyone knows what you're going to experience in there. Hot, sweaty. And now you can write about everything outside of that and all the emotional bits. Like, you don't need to actually be there physically in person in the sauna with your creepy boss diddling his skin flute in the corner while you're writing about the Sauna Master game. There's also an allegation that came out here I hadn't heard of till reading this article, where apparently there's another scandal here involving the head of Spectrum Studios, where he's been accused of deliberately looking for people in a, quote, difficult situation because it might be more likely to wave red flags. And another individual named Natalia Wilzinska, I'm sure I absolutely ate shit on that pronunciation, also claimed that Jacek was lurking in artist groups on Facebook asking for samples of work with naked figures, and even posted some of the screenshots onto Twitter. Another really weird component about this is that Magda name that he dropped in one of the screenshots is someone named Magdalena Kuzenti. I know I butchered that pronunciation again, I'm sorry. And apparently candidates were instructed to contact them regarding the recruitment task, but Magdalena doesn't work at the studio at all. So it turns out Jacek was one of her students in a narrative design course, and it was during the classes that Magdalena gave him advice on the project. And furthermore, I'll just read directly, Jacek directed interested individuals to her, even though she'd not yet replied to his request on the manner, since she apparently doesn't use social media. And now she has come forward about all of this, saying, like, what the fuck? She goes on to explain that Jacek was just using her last name without her permission, without her being like an employee of his or anything like that. She's another person who's been harmed in this matter. This whole thing is so fucking weird. Jacek sounds like an extremely creepy individual, and I don't know how this kind of requirement to work there isn't like an illegal practice, to say that your employees have to go to these sauna sessions. But yeah, I just had to talk about this a little bit. It's so fucking weird. That's really about it. So yeah. How far would you go for something you love? This is the inspirational story of a hotel manager who risked it all for the sake of their passion. They pursued their passion with such intensity and determination that they would do anything necessary to get just a brief, fleeting moment of satisfaction from it at the expense of one of their guests. This is the story about how a hotel manager broke into one of the guest rooms to suck on their toes. He loved toes so much that he was willing to go to jail again for sucking on them. There's a crazy plot twist to this story beyond just the actual suckling of those dogs, but it gets very ridiculous very quickly and goes in some unexpected directions. So I hope you're ready for a wild tale of something that just happened the last couple days in Nashville. And yeah, I heard about the hotel manager that was sucking guest toes. When chat brought it up the other night, I thought that was just exceptional service. But it turns out he was just sucking their toes while they were asleep. Nashville hotel manager charged after allegedly sucking on sleeping guest toes, a sort of nightmare. I actually asked this question the other day to Matt and Danny and Chase. Do you think if you whisper into someone's ear as they're sleeping for long enough and often enough, you could actually influence the dreams they have? I wonder if the people that were getting their toes sucked while sleeping, if they had, like, related dreams about it, just makes you pee? What? How? Like, if I whispered... Let's say I wrote down, like, an entire movie plot, and I just whisper all of it to someone as they're sleeping and just keep repeating it. Would that have any effect on their dreams? Would they start reenacting my movie plot in their dream? I wonder. One day I'll try and myth bust that. Manager of a downtown Nashville, Tennessee Hilton has been charged with aggravated burglary and assault after allegedly sucking on a male guest's toes while he was sleeping. Oh, was it just one person, or was he like a serial sucker? David Patrick Neal was arrested Friday after hotel guest Peter awoke at 5 a.m. to find the night manager indulging his apparent foot fetish. He's since filed a lawsuit against the hotel alleging sexual assault. Neal cloned the key to Brennan's room and entered during the early morning hours without knocking or announcing himself. What did he think was going to happen? You would absolutely wake up to someone, like, suckling your tootsies. Especially if you're ticklish. That'd be panic-inducing. I mean, it's panic-inducing regardless to have this creepy fucking weirdo at the end of your bed just sucking your toes. Brennan reportedly screamed when he found Neal sucking on his toes and immediately recognized him as one of the 2 hotel staff members who had been in his room the previous day to help him with his TV. Oh, this was premeditated suckling. He was plotting. And he didn't even wear a mask or anything. He didn't even hide his face. I would have expected him to come in with like a ski mask or something. He looks like someone who sucks toes. Yeah, it looks like his, like, life juice. That's what's been fueling him for the last, like, 10 years. Just a little bit of toe grease. Brennan filed a complaint with police following the incident, and Neal reportedly told officers that he entered Brennan's room because he smelled smoke and wanted to check on him for his safety. Neal did not report a smoke smell to hotel security, and no one else smelled any smoke. Well, it doesn't really explain away the toe incident. Like, I smelled smoke, so I had to investigate thoroughly, so I put each and every one of his little piggies in my mouth. And wouldn't you know it, no smoke. Where's my medal? I'm a hero. Them toes were on fire. He was trying to suck the smoke out of his toes. What a hero. Yeah, like a snake in its venom or something. We just don't understand his ways. He might have very well prevented a fire, and we wouldn't know it. We're too busy judging him. All my life, you just have that sense of security and that sense of peace, right? It's not like you're camping and you have to keep one eye open, Brennan told the local outlet. You have that security that's yours, and when you close your eyes, you feel like you're safe and you're protected, and it was a complete violation. The last thing you would expect at a hotel is someone to sneak in the middle of the night and go to work on your feet. I was just so shocked, Brennan said. It was, who are you? Why are you in my room? It was almost like a dream, a sort of nightmare. Just didn't make sense. Why is this person touching me? Upon further investigation, Brennan and his attorney, Michael, with Rocky Law Firm, found that Neal had a lengthy rap sheet that included a voluntary manslaughter conviction for shooting his roommate during a fight in 1996. That took a crazy turn. It almost sounds like Brennan got off easy with just a little bit of a happy ending on his toes. Wow. How is this voluntary? This feels like just murder, right? Well, I guess voluntary manslaughter might be the charge for like a heat of passion kill. But killing his roommate during an argument or a fight? Jesus. Multiple charges of forgery, drinking and driving, a manslaughter conviction as well, which served prison time. When Hilton hired this person, they had to have known. They had to have done background checks to know. And the fact that they would put somebody like that in a position where they have the ability to clone keys and have the ability to get into a guest's room. That's a great point. How the fuck did he land such a position at Hilton with a history of forgery, drinking and driving, and a fucking manslaughter charge for killing his roommate in an argument? Or a fight. This guy must have actually been sucking the toes of the person conducting the job interview. There's no other explanation. There's no way. Like, that's not an easy position to land, right? I imagine at a Hilton. That's still a pretty reputable place. Brendan reportedly suffered post-traumatic stress and struggled to get to sleep in the wake of the alleged toe-sucking incident. The safety and security of our guests and team members is our highest priority. We're working closely with the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department, and as part of company policy, we do not comment on ongoing investigations. I am excited for the time they do, and apologize for the toe-sucking incident. Yeah, I mean, if that happened to me, you bet your sweet bippy I would not be staying at any hotels ever again. I'd just sleep in the car. But then even there, I'm not safe. Just have someone break into the car and just immediately start going to town on my feet. If this happened to you, would you prefer if it was a stranger or someone you knew? Oh, that's tough. I don't know. There's pros and cons to both. If it was a stranger, at least I'd never see them again and press charges, go through the whole song and dance. But if it's someone I know, then there's like that wrestling with guilt. Like, man, I've been friends with this guy for how long? And he did this? Do I press charges? No, I definitely press charges. This is fucking weird, but you know, you have that back and forth. So I'd say maybe a stranger. But then there's always going to be that lingering thought in the back of your head, like, what if he did more to me? Like, I was sleeping on my stomach that night, and I woke up and my ass was a little itchy. Like, I was a little sore. Could he have? No. But maybe. Like, there's still so much wiggle room for what-ifs with a stranger. So, I don't know, man. That's tough. Plus, my feet are super ticklish as well.